We have the same in dropship again. Go. We have P20. I'm going to use the stairs as a way to gauge somebody's here. Somebody's here, so we're going to pick a sentinel. Okay, now we have actually really decent guns here for fighting. There's abilities in the building. We're going to throw a nade in the window to try and catch somebody off guard. There was a bubble in the doorway here, so they're not going to expect a nade like that. Climb the building, please. We're gonna grab this armor and go down as soon as we get this med kit off. They smoked the window off, so we're going to drop down here. Like, really good thermite on our behalf here. And we're probably dead to the damage. We're gonna phase and make distance, so they have to try and ape us, and we can really take advantage of of just a walking in straight line here. They already used Newcastle shield. We're going to take the time to reset here. They're going to gather all the loot, but I would imagine they don't have a ton. We still have a purple mag R9, can do really good against here. They still have Newcastle's fortified, which kind of sucks, but we're going to try and make the best out of the situation. We're going to take this fight. This fight is going to be hard to win, and we're probably not going to win this fight, but this is a really good example of a fight that we want to take to try and get better. So I'm gonna grab all the resources available to us: arc stars, ammo, grenades. Nothing else in this building. Looks like they're probably still in the building. Arc star play here would go crazy, but we missed sadly. Expect to climb up here. It's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. We had to land the arc star there probably. We didn't play the cover very well. We walked, so actually, you know what? I can actually take that and actually explain that very well. Hang on, actually, I can actually explain perfectly exactly what I did wrong there. So, we know from our earlier engagement with them that they have purple armor. Our game plan here is basically to play the arc star stick, or even just play the arc star. We don't need a stick here to generate value. But right here, so this door, we know the location. Wait, what's the fucking tool I have? Where did it go? Here it is. So here's what we did wrong here. I don't care. Ignore. So the enemies are located in this building, right? Available to us: arc stars, ammo, grenades. I hate the Twitch player. Nothing else in this building. Looks like they're probably still in the building. So we know that the enemies are in this building still. Like, they haven't left. We can take a good assumption that they are. Can I make this thicker? Make this thicker. Can I do that? Okay. Whatever. So, dude, this is so tiny. Make it thicker, please. Here we go. So this is what we would define as a threshold. This separates the building. This is obviously a door. It separates the inside from the outside of the building. But this is basically a point of no return. Once I enter this door and there's enemies on the inside, I can't just easily turn around and escape back out the door, right? And what I do really wrong here is I enter the threshold. Me, as the aggressor here, in a disadvantageous position, is the person that enters the threshold into what I would describe as hostile space. So if I am... So everything inside here is hostile space. We don't know where the enemies are. The enemies effectively control this space because of their positioning and their resources and the potential threat that they have. So what I need to do here, when I actually walk in here, go like speed like 0.5. You see, I fully enter the threshold. I'm now just fully in the building. There is zero cover for me to play anywhere. The only possible cover that there is this little table here, which provides like 1/3 cover. It's not even half cover. It's 1/3 cover. There's this pill up here, which they're playing for cover. Even if I stick this Newcastle, he can run back into cover while his teammate provides cover for him. You know, like the teammate can draw and generate pressure for him. I've effectively put myself in an even worse, like I had a disadvantage of players. I already had the disadvantage of players. I had the disadvantage of loot. which includes armor guns, because they've gotten the chance to loot these boxes. I know that somebody had purple armor in this building earlier. I know this Newcastle has purple armor from our earlier poke engagement. I know what they have. I know, like, I'm already at a major disadvantage. I don't have a lot of ammo to keep a sustained fight. My only resources that I have here are my phase, which is still on cooldown, or my phase, which is off cooldown, actually, I should say. I don't have big meds at all, so a long engagement is going to be catered to these guys' favor. They have more meds than me, because just because you spawn with meds in these loot boxes, these death boxes have more loot in them. Like, they have cells and shit. Like these guys win in a sustained fight against me. I only have, like, the shield cells I spawned with and then a little bit more. I only have 4. And my armor is only white. These guys effectively have, like this Newcastle with fortified effectively has, like, 75 more HP than me, right? Yeah, he effectively has 75 more HP than me, and then the Bangalore effectively has like 150. Like, these guys have a combined total of, like, what is that, like 300, like, or like 225 HP or some shit like that. Hey, if you're learning something in this video, be sure to subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and I really appreciate it. I'm doing more educational coaching content like this in the future, so it would really mean a lot to me if you guys should support on the video. Now, back to the video. So, like, this is, like, I'm already at a disadvantage. We're taking this fight to get better, and I'm to have no cover to play here. I have nothing to play here. When you use weapons that have cooldowns on them, so for example, the Peacekeeper, you have to shoot the Peacekeeper, then you rechamber it, then you can shoot it again. So there is this defined area of downtime where you can't actively do anything. You can't trade damage out, but damage can be incoming, you know? Does that make sense? The same thing is true for things like Arc Stars. You have to pull out the Arc Star, which defines the period of downtime. And throwing the Arc Star, it has a travel. You have to pull it back and then throw it until it sticks. That's all downtime. And then there's the animation of putting away, re-pulling out your weapon. That's basically all downtime. During any point of downtime, you want to minimize the amount of time you are exposed. My biggest mistake here, the biggest mistake I could have possibly made here, was entering this threshold. You see how much raw damage I took because there are 2 people that can output twice as much damage as me. I'm throwing one Arc Star, which has the potential maximum value of like 150 damage or something like that. If I stick it, which is a big if, all they have to do is shoot me. So the return, like the risk versus reward on their half, compared to my behalf, is so much. They have generated way more threat as I would perceive it. Like, the potential for threat that they have is way higher than mine. I have to make a big play to actually outplay their level of threat and minimize theirs. You see how the simplest thing... Ammo, grenades... The simplest thing here of just playing this door and not actually playing the door cost me this game. If I didn't enter this door and I instead just sat here and hugged the wall, peeked through the Arc Star, went back into cover, maybe took 50 damage, and maybe land a stick, or at the very least zone them out, I would have had a plethora of more plays to do and actually utilize and improve on. This small thing cost me the entire game, especially because I'm playing at such a high level where I'm playing against opponents that know what they're doing. These opponents, even if they're not good, they know what they're doing. They know to kill me. They know how to shoot their gun at me. You have to outplay them in very small ways like this to minimize the amount of actual time you take being like in the open. You'll see a lot of really high level players. Like if I had a Peacekeeper here, bringing back to the Peacekeeper analogy, if I have a Peacekeeper, I'm going to peek, shoot the Peacekeeper, then strafe back into, and then strafe back. I'm going to peek out, shoot the Peacekeeper. Then during the unavoidable downtime of the Peacekeeper itself, where you have to rechamber, I'm going to go back into cover, rechamber it, re-peek out, shoot with the PK again. Repeat. Ad nauseum. Repeat. 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 Until the situation changes, such as they start moving around, or I end up getting big damage and have the ability to push, anything like that. This is also a failure in resource management for one simple reason. So this Arc Star misses. And like, if I wasn't in the threshold of the door... So one of the big things actually... I also want to cover is that pressure will cause you to will cause you to crumble. In the building. Another reason the high ground is really good is because you don't have pressure put onto you to perform. If you're on high ground and you use things like longer range weapons, the enemy is so far away that the chance of you getting downed is very minimal. You're probably never going to get downed. A lot of people that sit on high ground, things like that, they will typically stand still to make aiming easier. And the thing I can do here is that if I'm not taking immense pressure from me taking damage, me being shot at, me being identified as a hostile, if I play this door, I can take my time. I can take a quarter of a second more to actually line up the arc star. You'll see that when I actually throw the arc star, we'll play it like 0.25 speed. You'll see that when I throw the arc star, I have a general, my brain goes, there's a general idea of where he is, but I'm not using it to align where I should throw the arc star. I'm more so praying that I'll get an arc star stick. I'm not playing around the fact that that's my win condition. You see, my crosshair isn't even on the target. So I just flick over and then just miss because I'm not aiming it. He was really easy to stick there. He has no effective way to strafe. Dude, I hate the Twitch player. I wish I could just go back like grenades. Frames. Nothing else in this building. Looks like they're probably still in the building. You see, his effective strafe range here is literally not like he can go this, like he can go slightly to the right or slightly to the left. But his big hitbox puts him at such a big disadvantage here that sticking him is pretty easy. I should have gotten the stick off. I just needed to not cross this threshold, not have pressure on me to perform, causing me to act quicker than I needed to. Literally, if I had the time to actually instead throw the arc star and aim it, I would have been fine.
Arc star player would be crazy. We miss.
So we climb up here. We now have control of the high ground. We're now in the so even though we have an advantageous position, so we're going to put a mark on us for positioning. We're just going to shorthand it EOS for positioning. This is an advantage we have in our favor. However, that doesn't outweigh everything they have. They still have 2 players. They have dealt like 60% of my HP. They've dealt about 60% of my HP. So they have basically like 2 times as much HP as, like, they have like 3 times as much HP as I do. Even though there's 2 players with the purple armor and they have and all the damage I've taken, they basically have 3 times as much HP as I do. They can also do 2 times as much damage as everything that comes entitled with 2 players. I only have positioning. This still makes the fight balanced in their favor. If I was still full armor, maybe, if I had more health, if I only took 25 damage here, this fight might actually be in my favor just because of how good this positioning is. You can see that once they actually start pushing up here, how do I like this? Once they actually start pushing up here, my aim misses here, whatever, it's fine. I'm still under that pressure to perform. I'm still under this pressure to perform. I haven't sat here and thought clearly about my game plan. My game plan is to kill them as they're climbing up, but I haven't thought about my aim in coordination with that. And that's why I miss. This guy starts climbing with purple armor. My mouse control is pretty weak here. Pull out the Spitfire. And the VOD's over, smile. But, you know. That's basically why we lost that fight. You see that one fight just took us under like a 15-minute, 20-minute investigation about why we lost that. And now I know what I can do better in the next game. I can go to the next game and understand the premise of thresholds better and understand what I need to do and how to play around them.